Welcome to Mudville, podcast about baseball and cinema. I'm Brody Staub.
I'm Nolan Rabine.
We hope you enjoy. Coming this summer
To a theater near you.
starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson
And
Jim from The Office.
written by the CIA and produced by
The Daniels. It is already nominated for 6 Oscars.
adapted from a novel by J. Edgar Hoover.
The Daniels' next product is a Jedgar novel that he threw on the scrap heap. That they're like, it feels like the right time to tell this story.
We think we're going to take kind of an ironic approach to this material, and it just results in like 2 million kids joining the army and getting obliterated.
J. Edgar had a lot of very interesting things to say. Controversial, but definitely worth hearing.
Do you imagine if he wrote a novel? I bet it would be like...
I bet he did.
It
I
would
bet
be
it's
like
somewhere.
Hitler's art. It would be just very like
It's kept in a
fascist
vault.
aesthetics.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
What an interesting time in American history. Anyway, welcome to baseball and Mudville.
Welcome
and
back to
movies
all that
and what
stuff.
Yeah.
What was your idea? What were you going to say a couple minutes ago?
I want to do an SNL style sketch with like horror movies, but they're all just like named after like children's folk fairy tales.
Well, like Skinamarink, the movie that came out last year.
Is that a thing? Shit,
yeah,
I've been
well,
beat to it.
Yeah, no, it was
Damn.
like this like very cheap $20,000 like horror.
Wait, did it actually have anything to do with the fairy tale though, or was it just the title?
It's not a fairy tale either. It was.
I don't know what Skinamarink even. I know the song.
Yeah, I think that's just like.
Skinamarink.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's just like based. I think that's in the entire.
That was the
reference
concept.
to it. Like,
Sure.
It's just like a bunch of shots of dark corners and like things going in and out of those
Just
corners.
simple
And like
horror.
you
Yeah.
give the context from there. It's actually
Okay.
very good. Like it sold out theaters like because it blew up on TikTok or
Fair enough.
whatever. And that's like kind of the only good use of TikTok would be if like
Yeah, getting people to go see
cinema
weird
gets-
indie horror flicks.
if it like gets people
Yeah.
into the theater to go like see this movie that they think is going to kill them or curse
Yeah.
them to go like stab a deer or a goat or something.
Right.
I don't know. Like
If you
like,
see this,
if there was
you
like,
will sacrifice a goat.
there are like actual real life stakes for me to go see this movie. Like I will
That's
I
fair.
will be
Yeah, go
fucked
get in
up
the theater.
if
Yeah.
I go to this.
Yeah. Film talk is really putting in overtime for the industry.
We're all that's left because the writers are on strike.
Yeah.
So,
It's just us.
Yeah, no, there are going to be no more new movies coming
Man.
out, so we can just talk about the old ones.
Yeah.
Like Skinamarink
Skinamarink
from last
True.
year.
Man,
The one that made them no money.
actually, I do have something kind of interesting I should bring up. Well, I don't know about should, but want is fair.
Hit it.
The first thing that I ever worked on professionally released,
Oh, yeah, plug it.
which I think is kind of interesting. It was, it does not need my plugging, but it is, it's the season 3 of The Other Two, which is the HBO show, it's like SNL people. But in the first episode, there's like a hospital scene where I set up, like, there's like a party going on. And I remember setting up like the party scene and everything. And then in the first episode, I was like, I put up that sign or whatever. And I was like, I set up that table. Like, like little things like that. So that was the first thing I've ever seen on screen that I actually, did. So
Hell
that was
yeah,
kind of
no,
cool.
Shout out
really,
to that.
really fun
go
stuff.
Go watch The Other Two and keep
Go
an eye out
look for
Brody's table.
Look for this sign in the background that says, "We're so proud of you." And I put that shit up. And the art director was like, good shit. I was like, yep. She's like, you did that? I was like, yeah. She's like, that looks great.
Nice.
Like,
Dude.
and then that was the last day I worked on set because they fucking never called me again.
You know what?
So that was it.
That you just sold me. As soon as I make a movie, I'm gonna have you as the
let me on the art department.
You're gonna make the art movies. Also, actually, my mom watches that show, The Other Two, that you mentioned. So she probably heard you say that and was like, "Ooh,
yeah, keep an eye out."
Definitely listening to the podcast. Hi, Mom.
Yeah, hi, Brady.
Yeah. Keep going.
There was a bit in the season, like ongoing, where the entire art department they're at a premiere for one of the characters' movies. Like one of the characters is like an actor who just got his first big break, and his brother is like this like Bieber type like character where he's like an 18-year-old phenom, and they're like the other two is the siblings. They're like the other two siblings who are trying to make it in the industry and just failing horribly, while their 18-year-old brother is like beloved.
Sure,
it's actually it's pretty funny. I'd never seen
that's a good concept,
but it is. It's funny. I like it, and I'm not shilling for it because I have nothing invested in it other than that I worked on it. But the brother, they're at a premiere, and there's this running gag that the entire art department on the movie died of cancer, which like was a little too close for home, or close to home, because I worked on a movie last summer also, which like, we worked in an apartment and drilling into walls and shit that definitely were loaded with like asbestos and shit, and it has me like concerned, like low key, but it was like but it was just, I don't know, it was funny. But I was like, this is a weird gag to be doing. Yeah,
down the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Future Brody might have a problem on his hands.
Future Brody is concerned about
current
past
Brody is
decision.
chilling.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Man, I'm sure it's fine. I don't actually think it's that bad. We were wearing masks too because it was COVID, but whatever. Yeah, you know.
COVID mask unintentionally
helpfully
in a completely different way.
Exactly.
Wild. Yeah. How is your out of the park
stuff
franchise going?
It's still out of the park from last year. So like
you're playing last year's game. Okay.
Yeah. Which actually kind of works out because if I want to trade for any prospects, I kind of know what I'm getting into.
Right.
Which is kind of fun. But I started a fantasy draft league, and I took I think I started with like Judge and Shohei. I don't remember. I've made like a shit ton of trades already. So my team is already different, but
the advertisement for this year's game.
But yeah,
you have to be like, no,
I don't want to do
that. Give me the old one.
I'm good with the one that I have. This is like a Madden type situation.
Yeah,
I will run Brett Favre era Maddens until the day I die. No, it's fun. I like this game a lot. Honestly, it's better than the show franchise.
It lets you fire Brian Cashman.
I did fire Brian Cashman.
How good did that feel?
It was actually really fun. It's so stupid because it's like a fake version in a fake game, and it's a simulation or whatever. But being able to say, like, whenever you try to make a trade, it tells you like what the GM says.
Right.
So every time he would say like stupid shit, like there was a moment where I could trade Brandon Woodruff, who's on the last year of his contract, or he's like going into arbitration, for Corbin Carroll. Straight up, with Corbin Carroll being like the top 2 prospect or whatever, and Brandon Woodruff is having a shit year for me. And like it says, like Brian Cashman, assistant GM advice: don't do this. This is I strongly advise against this.
Hey.
We would be worse off if we did this. Meanwhile, my starting center fielder is like Robbie Grossman, and I'm like, and we don't have a prospect coming up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm sick of hearing your shit. I'm gonna fire you, and then I did, and it was awesome.
5 stars for this game, though, having Brian Cashman say a bunch of nonsense.
Being an idiot. It's really fun. It's good stuff.
Oh, man.
Just calming. Like, it's the feel of catharsis that you get just clicking fire. And then it shows up like Brian Cashman. If you try to go back and rehire him, it says, I have no...
Oh, I spilled my drink.
My...
Hold on.
We're back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Nolan fucked up.
Welcome back to Mudville, a podcast where we kick over cans and spill fluids onto
kick
the
in
rug.
The can, like shifting blame. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, a podcast where we kick cans down the road.
Down the road,
metaphorically and
physically.
Kick cans off the table, literally.
Yeah, that's accurate. Anyway, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Let's just talk about real baseball now.
Sure, that's
the Yankees
fair.
should have won that series in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the Yankees really should have won. They could have swept. They genuinely could have swept that series.
Brody wrote about, by the way.
I did.
For his blog.
I previewed it. I didn't do the... I haven't done the recap yet. So I did the... I started with the Guardians and the Rangers series, and then the next one is going to be the Rays and the A's. I'm kind of looking forward to writing that because this has been a weird couple weeks of Yankee baseball. But tonight marks the return of the guy who his bat being back, striking fear into the hearts of opponents, and that man is Aaron flippin' Hicks.
It's the other Aaron.
It's not. He's back. He's hitting homers. He's hitting doubles. He's pimping. He's cranking second deck jackaroonies.
Yeah.
Also,
true.
Aaron Judge, the captain, is back tonight, but who gives a shit?
Aaron Hicks did hit a 2-run home run into the second deck of Yankee Stadium. In other news, a blind squirrel outside the apartment found a nut yesterday.
Also, my watch is broken. Turns out it was right this morning, and will
I
be
looked
right
down
later
and
tonight.
my broken watch was correct.
How about that? Twice a day, Aaron Hicks had a homer, which means that he avoided the axe for now.
And probably will for another month.
2 months, probably.
No,
but
I hope it's only one.
I'd be shocked.
That's
Genuinely, if the Yankees can get anything out of him, it's worth it because, I don't know, he used to be okay and serviceable. So, whatever, I'm rooting for the guy to be good. I don't want him to be bad.
Be a ball player.
Like, you don't want him to be bad.
Could have been a contender.
It's just, he has been. So, whatever. But maybe if he starts turning it on, maybe all he needed was to face the A's and remember that he actually knows how to play baseball.
Maybe
but
that
what it
is
could
all
prove
he
is that he can only play at a triple league level because the A's are a triple A team. But we'll see.
That's a good point.
We will see.
They should have won that series in Tampa. I don't like getting into shoulda, woulda, coulda, but I feel pretty comfortable saying that they should have won that game.
They really should have. Boone made some rough decisions with the bullpen.
Questionable.
Head scratchers. And then Garrett Cole decided to have his worst start of the year with a 6-run lead.
Well, his worst 2 innings of the year. He was looking
really
good
that's
up
true.
until then. They had a 6-0 lead,
killing him.
and then he got... They just left him in a little bit too long.
Yeah. And it was clear,
He
too,
overcooked.
it's the worst part.
And then
when you were watching that game, you saw it. He was getting hit hard, and he was losing it. And then I was like, they just left him in. Whatever.
You might have heard me say it, I think, because we were watching the game in separate rooms, and I was out here, and after he gave up those back-to-back doubles, I think I said, okay, pull him.
I was with you.
And then he walked another
take
guy,
him out.
And then
that was it.
Run.
Yeah, stupid. But whatever.
So
it doesn't really
that was
matter.
A shame.
But the thing is, today I was watching the Michael K show, as I do, because I like hearing what he has to say about the Yankees, because it's good insight that you can't really get many other places about what they're thinking, because he understands the front office more than probably anybody else in the media. So
how
if you're
often
curious,
do you watch the Michael K show?
Pretty much daily. It's just something to put on. It's nice. But
you know how old people used to say the TV's gonna rot your brain?
Yeah.
That genuinely might.
There's a chance. I don't know. Peter Rosenberg is like the Hot 97 DJ. He's really cool.
Oh, I know who Peter Rosenberg is.
Yeah, he's awesome.
No. You don't have to tell me who these people are.
And
I know who they are. I'm just surprised
Don,
that
too.
you can watch them every day.
Well, it's fun. I don't know. I like sports talk radio also. I don't know. It takes me back to being a kid, because my dad always used to pick us up from school listening to it. So it just, takes me back.
See, I feel like I get enough Michael K on the daily broadcast.
I find him funny.
Shocks me how much of that man's life he spends with a microphone in front of his face.
He really does.
That's genuinely impressive.
Because the show is 3 or 4 hours a day, depending on how long. And then the Yankee game, used to be 3 hours a day. So he could go up to,
He
around
still does
7 hours,
3.5 hours
a day with a microphone in his face. 7 hours a day. How many hours is he awake?
How many throat lozenges does he need?
Seriously. Just
how
talking.
Does he ever have a voice?
He yells all the time. He's like, that's a very good point. I don't know. He also, so hold on, because he's driving, because he lives in Connecticut. So to get to wherever they're shooting the show, probably sometimes at the stadium for him if they have a home game. But they have a studio somewhere on the west side. But whatever. So that's probably about an hour drive in from Connecticut. Then I'm assuming an hour plus home after following a Yankee game, which, Yankee traffic, I don't know if you've ever been in a car, because have you ever driven to a Yankee game?
I think no.
Yeah, it's the worst. Let me tell you. The way in is fine. Leaving is the worst. The Deegan that runs outside is a parking lot for hours. It's terrible.
I remember you and I left
ugh.
the game once where you were driving the car, but
Yeah.
I didn't show up to that game in the car, but I think that was the only time I ever did.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You're right. I forgot about that.
For that reason, I'm
yes.
always like, there's no way I'm parking
Yeah.
anywhere near Yankee Stadium. That
Yeah.
sounds like hell.
No, but even if you don't park near it, it's still bad.
Oh, I
like
know.
there's just no way to get away from it. But anyway, this is all beside the point. Michael
day
Kay is
in the
probably
life of Michael
driving.
Kay.
He's probably driving for close to 3 hours a day. So between driving and when is he like calm? It makes sense why he's insane. When is he ever having a calm moment to himself where he's not driving, he's not talking on the radio, he's not thinking about sports or the media? Like, at what point during the day does that happen for him? Like,
I feel like he's definitely one of those
He's a
guys where his
family.
like, where his like drive time is like me time for him. Where
I
it's
mean, sure.
I bet he honestly. I bet he listens to the Michael Kay show in the car.
on repeat, listen to today's points
He's
and
like,
critique himself.
what-
Oh no,
what
he
could I have
doesn't
done
do any
better?
self-reflection. Come on now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Not at this point in his life. He's like 65. He's like coasting. Anyway, this is all circling around my initial point.
Sure.
Which I was going to say, there are like dumbass Yankee fans who call into the show and were like, Jarrett Cole is not an ace. You really want this guy on the mound for a get? Like, people are bashing Cole for having one bad game. Not even a bad game, as you said.
One bad inning.
2 bad innings or
Yeah.
whatever. I will defend the
bad hour.
Yankees. Some Yankee fans who claim to be fans and then don't know how to pronounce Garrett Cole, calling him Jarrett, it's like infuriating, and I understand why everybody like that. It feels like dumbass Cowboy fans. Like, I hate the Cowboy fans more than I hate the team. Like, I get why people don't like Yankee fans.
What do
It's
you
frustrating.
think Michael Kay's favorite movie is?
He has said it on the air before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to know. I'm so curious.
I can't remember what it was.
We should get him onto the podcast and just talk about whatever.
That'd be fun.
Movie
He's
he
like
wants to
a
talk
big
about.
New York guy. I don't know. He's just like an asshole, but he's also just a fun personality to listen to. He's
Sure.
very over the top. He keeps my attention.
I bet, like, I don't know. He seems like his favorite movie would be, like, he would like it for
He would like
a really
the wrong
weird
reasons. Yeah.
reason. Like, he would like it
He likes
because-
Jordan Belfort a bit too much. like something like
well,
that.
I don't know. That's like every kid that I went to high school.
That's fair. Me
But
too.
Michael Kay would be more like, I feel like,
Woody Allen movies.
well, yes. Oh, that's such a good point. His favorite movie is definitely like Annie Hall. I bet he loves Annie
That's
Hall.
a good guess. I feel like it might be something like that, but I can't remember. I feel like he said it.
Like,
Man.
maybe After Hours, just because you get to like see enough of the city, and he gets to like point at his favorite locations. He's
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
oh,
There used to be a steakhouse.
I got a pizza there.
I don't know why I just gave him like
Paul
the
O'Neill. Yeah, I was trying. I can't do a like.
gave him the
Michael Kay
Robert
voice. I
Loggia
couldn't
voice.
give him any.
Oh, there's the pizza
Yeah.
place. Wow, man.
Talk about around the league. The
Yeah.
Mets look like ass.
Shit, they're
They're
bad.
so bad.
So bad.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. What have you noticed with them?
Well, first of all,
Thoughts?
we're recording the podcast on Tuesday night, so Scherzer was scratched from his start today and replaced
Yeah,
with David
how about that?
Peterson. They say he had neck spasms. He had come off not the IL, but he had been suspended very recently. He came back. He didn't pitch very well.
Also, his
and
spin
now-
rate was way down when he came back.
And now he has this interesting injury that's apparently
He's cooked.
flaring up.
Take him out of the oven. He's cooked.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly wouldn't go far enough to call Max Scherzer done to say that he doesn't have anything left in the tank, because I think he certainly does.
to say he has
but
a full season left.
It's certainly fair to say that the Mets' geriatric pitching rotation is immediately providing the result that I feel like their fans were afraid that it could provide. Carrasco looked awful, and then he went on the IL. Like, he looked like truly one of the worst pitchers in
The
baseball.
reason they call him Cookie. Serving up cookies.
Verlander was out for a month. He came back. He looked pretty okay. Scherzer was suspended,
Yep.
came back, looked bad. Now
Verlander
he's
was
apparently out
hurt. He
again.
came back. He didn't have a great first
Yeah,
start, I
he
think.
looked okay.
It's-
I mean, you know, he was certainly so phenomenal last season in the past few years, and he's Justin Verlander, so I similar to Scherzer. Like, I'm going to give him as much leniency as I possibly
get
can
a little slack on the
until
line.
he shows that he does not deserve it. And I'm certainly at that point with Carrasco, but definitely not with the two guys that the Mets gave $80 million to this
They're on the
offseason.
hook for $80 million.
Crazy.
I mean,
so and they're 16 and 17, 17 and 18, I believe. They're like a game under 500 right now.
They are under 500. They have the highest payroll in baseball by, I don't remember what it is. It's a lot of money. Like, a lot more than the second closest team being the Yankees. Are they, like, what is Buck supposed to be doing? Like, I mean, the guys are not hitting. This is their team. Like, offensively, this is the team. They don't have offensive injuries. You know? Like, Lindor and Alonso are in there. McNeil and what's his name? The Nimmo are in there.
Yeah, Nimmo.
Like, they're all playing.
Beatty's
and they're
up.
not hitting.
Starling Marte is in the lineup.
Marte is playing terribly.
Canha looks awful.
Canha's not
top
great.
prospect Francisco Alvarez is not doing much at all.
Yeah.
They're not even really playing him, so like you can't blame him for that. Like,
yeah.
a rookie, so you're going to get struggles probably to start with, but playing him like once or twice a week is just going to make it 3 times as bad. Yeah. And that's the result that they're seeing there. I just looked at my phone to look at their record. They're 17 and 18, like I said, but they're down 3-0 already to the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. They also, by the way, Tigers, Rockies, Reds. That's who they've seen recently. They got swept, I know, by the Tigers. I think they lost, like 2 out of 3 to the Rockies, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember, actually.
Yeah, at least 2.
Yeah. Not great, Bob.
No, they're playing Cincinnati this week. Like I said, down 3-0 after the second inning. So whenever you people will be listening to the podcast, that game will be over. But this is a big week for them because they're playing the Reds and the Washington Nationals. So if they don't pull it out now and start playing better, it's going to start looking very similar to the Mets of the past.
Yeah, and coming up, they're seeing the Rays very soon. So they get to kind of beef back up and like lock back in on the Reds and the Nationals for the next few days.
But if they don't,
and
do
after
it, they're in big
that,
trouble.
man, they've got, a rough road ahead. Like, I don't know what you do. Like, your guys that are supposed to hit are not hitting. So, like, I don't know what you can really do. It makes it's
you just gotta wait it out, maybe. But oh man, I mean, and I do think that this lineup is going. There's going to be some positive regression here from this lineup. There are definitely some guys who will produce
that have been underperforming
a lot more than they have
to
this point. But like I said, I don't feel any better about that pitching rotation than I have it at any point this year. And I felt like it's been old and it's been not.
It is old.
Great. And
Senga is like looked all right, but did you know he's 30?
I know.
I didn't realize that. I thought he was in his like mid-20s. He's already 30.
No, he's 30. Miguel is a bad pitcher.
I think it's McGill, but yeah, Lucchesi is not. He's 30 too. I mean, David Peterson is in his late 20s. I actually like David Peterson. He's like fun to watch.
I did
kind of a crafty lefty.
Start the year. I thought he was going to have a solid season, but he's looking bad. And tonight he's given up 3 runs already to Cincinnati.
I didn't even realize he was starting. Yeah. Oh my God, he's a 7 ERA in the season. Wow,
tough time in Mets land.
Yeah, not great. And that's the thing too. They are, similar enough to the Yankees, really high payroll, supposed to be succeeding, but
they're just across
philosophically, that's true also. But philosophically, they have a very different outlook, which is they will go spend and go get the guy, and they have gotten the manager who a lot of Yankee fans wanted. So I mean, this, not to spin this completely back into Yankee world, but they're going to use this as such an excuse. Like a point to a reason of like, see, it doesn't even work.
Well, hey,
you can't spend that much money. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
you can't get a manager with a feel for the game. It doesn't work. Yeah. The Mets are going to Mets.
Did you watch
the mistake is having the core of your rotation be 45 years old on average, by the way. That's the issue. Everything else, I think, is coming from that, and Billy Epler should be fired. Anyway, go on. What?
Did you watch any of that Washington-Arizona series over the weekend?
I did not, but you said it was nuts. What happened?
Bonkers. The Diamondbacks bullpen blew 2 huge leads over the weekend. The First
Who do they
game
have back there. Wait,
nobody, dude. Their
don't they
bullpen
have
sucks.
what Chafin?
Yeah,
That's kind of it.
they
I
had.
think.
He blew one of the games. I think he blew the first game.
He's an
Or maybe
interesting looking individual.
The second, even. Yeah, I don't know. One of the games, he came in with a 3-4 run lead, and he left with a 1-run deficit.
Oh, God.
That game was won by a walk-off home run from Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
Oh my God, Miguel Castro is back there. That's fun.
Yeah, who, by the way, he hit 4 home runs this past week, and his teammate Christian Walker hit 5.
Oh my
So
God.
the Arizona Diamondbacks are really starting to click as an offensive unit.
Yeah. That
Brandon
lineup is
Pfaadt-
scary, man.
Yeah, no, it's a really good lineup. And Gallen is looking like an MVP or a Cy Young candidate.
Shocker there.
Yeah, Brandon Pfaadt came up and got tanked a little bit.
Sure.
He's pitching tonight again. He's going up against Jesus Luzardo.
Yep.
So he's in a bit of an easier matchup against that Miami Marlins lineup. Hopefully he gets a little bit of a better result than he did
Right.
last time out.
Christian Walker, by the way, has also been the best hitter in baseball for the since May 1st. So
He's the most. He was
him
the
and
most
him and Luis
slept-on
Robert
hitter in the
are
league
tied in
last year.
in WAR.
Christian
Yeah.
Walker and C.J. Cron combined for something like 75 home runs last year, and
That's crazy.
like the average
Cron, I
baseball fan,
remember.
I would say, just would not know who they were.
Yeah, I think that's
It's
fair.
pretty wild.
Well, I mean, look at the teams that they're playing on.
Yeah,
Just shit about
I mean,
the D-backs or
exactly.
the Rockies,
Like, it's
but
tough
you know,
to market irrelevant NL West first baseman. But
Man.
speaking of the NL West,
they should unionize. Just C.J. Cron and Christian Walker.
just
We
those
are the
two.
NL West, and we are here.
We're the underrated mashers of the NL West, and we're here to say,
Man,
give us
more
money attention.
and attention. Yeah, not
Yeah.
money actually. Just give us attention.
Yeah,
Man.
we are making the accurate amount of money, but no one knows who we are.
People don't know who we are, so help.
Speaking of the NL West,
Yeah.
Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah.
is back, and
He's on a
he
heater.
is hitting elite power numbers again. He is putting
How about those
up,
Padres?
Yeah,
stuff?
I mean, finally, like it's been.
They've needed to get going
We
real
were
bad.
saying
Like-
saying last week that the NL West was just looking super boring right now,
Yep.
and I no longer think that's the case because the Dodgers have gotten super hot. And
Yep.
The Padres have started to win. They've started to hit, especially Tatis
Yep.
had that 2 home run
Yep.
game over the weekend. Like we said, Arizona is good now. The Giants are theoretically competitive, and the Rockies are the Rockies. So
One thing about the NL West, though,
yeah,
the Red Sox would be in first in that division right now.
that's hilarious.
Isn't that absurd?
They were actually one of the next things I was going to talk about. I just kind of wrote here in my notes: Red Sox, red hot. Is it going to last? No.
No, no, it's not. But at the same time, it's impressive what they're doing at the moment.
And Chris Sale looks like he's
good.
fully
He's
back
having a
for
good
the
year.
moment.
Yeah,
Let's say that lasts
we'll
about
see how long
20
it
minutes.
can last.
But-
Yeah, I would not be shocked if he has like 3 straight shit starts and then is like good again for the summer. and then is
I
bad
wouldn't
again.
blink an eye.
Like it's just he strikes me as a hot and cold guy. Like that's kind of his whole deal. Like
Well, especially,
he's
you
on
know,
a night
at-
and then he's shit for a few and then he's back. I don't know.
Well, he's been so hurt for so long.
I know.
He's been like in and out of rehab stints, and he's had like personal issues where he comes back and he gets all mad and he punches a wall or
Yeah,
cuts up uniforms. Like he's a pretty
Or beats up a minor league
erratic
clubhouse.
individual. Yeah. So
Right.
like I mean, there have been things that have certainly not been his fault, and then there have been things that have been his fault.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's come back and his velo hasn't looked great, but that all changed like last week or so, and ever since he's started to look good again. So we'll see if he can get on a roll. The Red Sox pitching staff can truck along, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that team is gonna maintain an above 500 record all year.
I don't think
I'd be very surprised.
I'd be curious as to how they could.
Jaron
Because-
Duran looks like he's improved his plate skills.
Sure.
quite a
No,
bit.
offensively, yes, they are hitting. Like they are absolutely mashing, which is
Connor Wong
yeah.
also is looking a lot better.
Yeah. The problem is that this rotation, similar to the Mets, is old and unpredictable. and kind of notoriously unstable
and kind of bad.
And yeah, not great. So
James
I mean,
Paxton is on the IL.
Yeah,
James is in the rotation.
He's going to be pitching.
He's starting
soon.
on the 12th. That says.
Yes,
that has to be like a
on Friday,
start.
May 12th.
Do we know where? That's got to be like in. That can't be.
He strained his hamstring in March, so he should be coming back. I guess now he's coming.
That's crazy.
he's coming.
How is man? He's gonna get destroyed.
I don't know, man. They have a lot of first of all, Yankee outcasts, which is funny. Yeah, I mean, I like Brian Bayo is a guy that you want to root for. Pivetta has been around for a long time at this point.
Pivetta is another guy I think is. I mean, the clock is kind of ticking on him. Like he's got to be done.
I know,
man.
Paxton too. I don't think he's going to show much. And
Paxton, I think we're going to come back to this in August, and he won't be in the league.
Yeah,
and I hate to say that, but
I don't know about not in the league, but he's definitely
hot take.
That's fair. That is definitely a hot take.
And I hope I'm wrong.
I think out of anybody that is in this rotation who's not going to stick around in the league this year, it's probably going to be Corey Kluber. But he's kind of getting knocked around. His strikeout numbers are bad. He's walking guys. He's not.
I think if Kluber stays healthy, he'll probably stick in the rotation. I don't see him going over 150 innings.
I mean, he's already at 35, which is he's up there
probably on
in
pace
7 starts. I don't know.
Yeah, it's also May. We'll see.
Five in it or 5 a start. That's not great, but whatever. I don't know. The Red Sox are annoying because they're winning games, and the Yankees have not found a way to do that with.
Well, the Yankees aren't exactly losing games, but they are in last
place.
In last place. Despite
in a division
500
of
record.
all 500 teams, by the way, which, go on to your AL Central thing, because that's fun. That's really
something
fun.
that I actually noticed today. In the week ahead, the entire AL East could possibly overtake the entire AL Central.
That's amazing.
Because the Twins going into today were, I believe, 19 and 16, and the Yankees were 19 and 17. So,
yep. And if the Yankees beat the A's tonight,
which they're down 1-0 right now because Clark Schmidt is bad.
Yes,
but that's just what it is.
Yeah. I don't think that's
I think there is quite a bit of. There's not much divisional parity right now in either league. I would really like to see Major League Baseball come up with a way to rewrite the playoff format a little bit, or maybe just weigh it kind of differently, because this is kind of ridiculous.
I don't mind the way that it's set up right now. And I know that that's a hot take because the way that sports are trending is
it's what it is.
No, but the sports are trending to two conferences, and then is the top 8 or whatever, which I understand why, because you want the best teams. But I also think that baseball is a sport where you have crazy runs, and it's way less fun if you don't have a team from first of all, also the American League Central teams now, if it was just the top whatever, they would never make the playoffs. Those 5 teams would be on the bottom of every single season for the next 50 years.
Well, two of them would. 3 this year, but, ostensibly 2 moving forward.
But, I mean, what I'm saying is that if it was like the NBA, where it's 15 teams in each conference, the top 7, so it's less than half, let's say,
NBA
make the playoffs.
also has it so that our top 4 had to be the divisional leaders. So, baseball could do something like that, where the top...
But that's kind of what it is now.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
That's true.
The seeding is, the 3 seed is whoever wins the AL Central. Not really, but in practice, that's how it's going to be. So, then the 4 seed is whoever has the next best record. So you can have the 3 seed 94 win Guardians, and the 4 seed being the 99 win Mariners or whatever. That's just kind of how it goes.
I anticipated not particularly liking the additional playoff teams that they added last year, but I think that it actually works quite well, because
it worked out. I liked it.
Yeah, and I think it's just because that American League East is so absurdly strong right now that otherwise, people would be freaking out saying, only 3 of these 4 teams can even possibly make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that that's not a narrative going forward. I don't think that there was any...
I don't think a whole division should be able to make the playoffs also.
No, yeah, but maybe it should just change a little bit.
Fair enough. I don't know how you would do it. I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah. What's else?
I have a little. So the beginning of this year has been strange. Not really a secret, but like good teams have, or like teams that were supposed to be good have been completely underperforming. Look at the Astros. Look at the
White Sox, especially.
White Sox, the Brewers. Actually, the Brewers have been all right. The Cardinals, the Yankees,
the Phillies,
the Blue Jays are like winning
Mets.
games, but they're not great. The Mets, that's another one. The Phillies got through a slow start last year, but yeah.
Quite a few underperformers.
You get the point. Yeah, a lot of teams that are not doing too hot. The Padres. Also, I don't know if you mentioned. And then you also have a lot of surprising starts. Obviously the Rays, they haven't even lost 10 games yet. They haven't even lost 8 games yet. They're 29-7 at this moment. The Pirates, 21-15, which you can talk about them. I know you wanted to in a minute. But I think right now, if you had to give me, I don't want to say the whole playoff picture because that's a lot of teams, but which teams will have the lead in their division by the All-Star break that are currently holding it?
Okay, well, let's take a look. The Rays will have the lead.
Yep.
The Braves will certainly have the lead.
Yep.
The Twins will have the lead.
I don't think they will.
I do.
I think the Guardians are going to
I know
show
you're a
up
big
in the next.
Guardians
I just like their
guy,
roster so
but
much, and I
think
like
the Twins
Tito.
are better.
But yeah.
The Pirates won't have the lead after this sentence. So the Brewers seem to have it wide open.
I think the Cubs are going to be winning that division by this summer.
That's possible, but I don't know that the Cubs are quite there. And the Reds are shitty, and the Cardinals are just tripping over their own feet and blaming it on their catcher.
That's really... Wait, can we talk about...
Quick
break on that.
Do it.
I've never seen a team be bad and blame the catcher. That's so funny. Like, not the manager, not the rotation, not the hitting, which has not been great. Like, not the ownership, not the general manager. They blamed the catcher. Like, they didn't even blame the fans.
Yeah.
Some teams will blame the fans for lofty expectations.
For context,
they blamed Wilson Contreras.
In case anybody doesn't quite know what we're talking about, Wilson Contreras, the catcher who they just signed to a 5-year big contract in the offseason.
Like a ton of money, too. I don't remember how much.
Has been taken off of the position only 1 month into the season. He's going to be DHing, I guess. They might even want to put him in the outfield, they say. But
it put him at first base. That's what you do with catchers.
Well, but they have Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, that's true.
DH him? Catch him.
Yeah, true.
I've never seen.
Oh boy!
And like everybody's talking about this, so I can't really add anything into this conversation. But I've never seen a team do this before, where the solution that they think that they're providing just doesn't have much upside.
It makes no sense.
No, I mean,
what are they expecting? I mean,
their outfield is already overcrowded before you want to throw a slow catcher in there.
Yeah. I know that he can't run.
Jordan Walker's going to stay down for another month now.
That's also really funny. They sent Jordan Walker down, who was doing all right. I don't know. They are going to have to fire. What is it?
Ollie Marmol.
Yeah,
he's gone.
He's done.
I
mean, this is like the Yankees fans will complain a lot about underperformance. This is like a whole other level. This team was great last year. They're currently in hell. What they have? I think
they're 12 and 20
games under. Yeah, like they're. It's amazing.
It's terrible.
It's really bad. They're 12 games under 500.
It's absurd. It's just insane.
They're 9 games back in that division. Which, I mean, they're 9 games back of the Brewers, 8.5 of the Pirates. I mean, 8.5 of the Brewers. But whatever. That division too. If you get buried early, I mean, you have a shot, I guess. Like, whereas the AL East, I'm concerned with, the way that the Rays are going, and the Orioles look great, and the Blue Jays are, kind of doing their thing. They're all right this year. I don't know. The AL East is a whole other monster. But the NL Central was supposed to be the Cardinals, hand over fist. They were just supposed to walk away with it. They're in last place,
They're
12 games under 500.
Reds.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing.
What?
The Reds actively are not trying to even field a team that gets paid. Like, I mean,
The
I don't know what
Pirates
they're
are
doing.
crashing down to earth. They lost
Yeah, go ahead about the Pirates.
7 in a row
Buccos.
before they won their game last night on the back of Mitch Keller, who threw a complete game shutout.
Ooh.
Also, by the way, on that,
Yeah.
I'd like to make a statement.
Sure.
I am officially retiring the nickname Murphy's Law Mitch, because he's proven that what can go wrong not necessarily will.
Not always.
Sometimes-
Not will. Might. Not will.
Might go
Might.
wrong.
Might
what
go
can
wrong.
go wrong might go
Murphy's
wrong.
Law adjacent.
He's gotten there.
Yeah.
Mitch's Law.
Mitch's
he threw
Law.
a complete game shutout last night.
Fair enough.
And they've got Luis Ortiz coming up tonight. He's pitching right now. I'll have to check in to see how that start is
Sure.
going. But he was a guy who was putting up big stuff numbers at the end of last year, so a lot of people were super excited about him coming into the off season.
They are losing 5-1 to the Rockies.
Oh, that's
in the fourth
depressing.
inning.
Oh, he must have gotten blown up.
Rockies
then.
just put up a 4 spot in the fourth.
Oh no.
Yeah, not great.
No.
Yep. 7 hits, 2
sucks.
earnies, 1 walk, 1 strikeout.
Well, all right. I guess Luis Ortiz struggled tonight, but look for
That's
him
okay.
to do well in
That's
the
okay.
future.
Look, not everybody shows up and is, the second coming of Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, I
So
think
it
we
is
got a
what it
little
is.
spoiled at the start of the year with a few of these guys. Like
A lot of great
coming up
pitching, but
and
the
just
Battle of the
shoving.
Millers was
That was
really
so much
fun.
fun,
Oh my
yeah.
God, that was good stuff. Man,
Bryce Miller has been dominant 2 starts now with a 70% fastball usage. He's
Sure.
just been getting
gotta
swing and
respect
misses
it,
on
man.
that. And
When you
yeah,
trust
he's
your
shoving.
fastball that much, just like try to hit it. Like,
Had a friend
that's great.
Compare him to Freddie Peralta.
Good
and
stuff.
I like that. Nick,
Yeah.
shout out to you, man. You were on the podcast. That was Prospect Sauce who said that.
Nice. Yeah.
What else were we talking about?
Sawinski has had a rough week.
Yeah, so Winsky certainly had a bad
Yeah.
week. I actually put that in my notes. I put both him and Jorge Mateo came crashing back down to earth
Man.
this week.
Yeah, it's a shame because he's so easy to root for just because he's on the Pirates.
And I do think,
he was
I
playing
think
great.
he's gonna come
But-
back. I think this is just gonna be kind of like I don't want to say a fluke, but like I think he will be closer to the productive player that we saw in weeks past than he is to the non-productive player we saw this week. Kansas City Royals might have a little bit of a flicker of offense cooking. I predict Bobby Witt to really turn it on soon. Vinny
Salvador Perez has hit 4 homers in the last 7
Yes.
games, so he's turning it
Sal
on.
Perez had 4 homers, 9 RBIs last week.
He
scored
might
10
be one of the
runs.
most unappreciated veterans in the game. Because he's been
I
there.
think he's appreciated.
Doing. I don't know about. Yeah, sure, but not to the
He
level
swings the bat
of.
too much.
Sure, but he's just been around forever, and he's always well above average, and he's a good catcher, and it's just I don't know. He's he's kind of forgotten about out there because nobody gives a shit about the Royals. So
Yeah, and really the guy that I want to give the big shout out to from Kansas City is Vinny Pasquantino.
Vinny
who-
P.
Yeah, man, he's
a banger.
Yeah, he's gotten his launch angle up. His exit velos are elite. He walks more than he strikes out. He's just he's the player, man. He's the perfect first baseman profile.
Prototypical, yeah.
And he's going to dominate in Kansas City for years to come, and so will Bobby Witt. And I'm a little bit excited to see if they can get something going with a lineup in Kansas City. And the White Sox badly needed to beat up on Graham Ashcraft over the weekend and put up an 11-run second inning.
Which they did.
Yeah, they did.
Amazingly.
Hey, good for them.
I know.
You win
Luis
one
Robert,
sometimes.
since the calendar flipped to May, he has been the most valuable hitter in the American League. Actually, in all of Major League Baseball, according to Fangraphs, by 0.1 WAR over Christian Walker. But that being said, I think they all kind of listened to that call, which, by the way, I listened to that call, and you were absolutely right. Listening to that dude talk about the White Sox makes you want to root for the White Sox.
It hypes you up.
It does,
Yeah.
because, it's so easy to get lost in the world of your own team. And then when you hear, there's a lot of long-suffering teams that when you don't pay attention to the rest of the league that much, you're just like, oh, they're bad. But like there are fans of that team who have to deal with that shit day in, day out. So like it's there's a lot going on with that. And I don't know. The White Sox have been he put it great. They've been like just been a failure for a decade and a half. So it's kind of,
Here's a question for you.
They're fighting to keep the team together because they're going to have to strip it down for parts if they don't start winning. What?
Here's a question. Ever since that call like blew up and went viral on the internet, have you noticed any sort of uptick in WFAN like monologists, like the people that are trying to like be that guy but for the Yankees, and they just end up saying like Aaron Hicks
So okay, so there's a thing. Actually, I'm glad you asked because there's a very, very, very clear dichotomy in WFAN callers. There are two types. There is Johnny in the car, and then there's like Fred
Johnny in the car.
Like I don't know where are they always calling from, like College Point or whatever. And like Johnny in the car is the guy who actually, and I think in my first article I named him Joey in the car, where it's the guy who comes on and he's like, I'm been a Yankee fan since 1942. I seen it all. Cashman doesn't know what he's doing. This is terrible. Boone has no feel for the game. He's a bum. And it's just like, the same shit that you hear all the time. And then it's, it's like, Aaron Hicks is the worst Yankee I've ever seen since, I don't know, Stump Merrill or whatever. And, they just, that's their whole thing. And then there's another one, which is like a very kind of, not necessarily well-spoken, but just like someone who will raise their voice, but in a respectful way. And they'll be like, this team, like clearly like he'll make a good point. I don't want to use a voice to try to obfuscate that he's trying to be smart. Or making a good point, but
you can make him sound like Sherlock Holmes.
That's Michael, dear boy. They just
Hits
I don't know.
pipe.
Exactly. But it's stuff that like I will have thought about. Like he's like, you can't keep going to Holmes in a tight spot. Like it's just that's a trust issue that you're blowing a game that you really can't or whatever. I don't need to make up a point to do that. Or the defense has been bad, so you're losing games because of things like that, not because Aaron Hicks is killing you or whatever. Or they'll be rational and say that the entire team is injured. It's just interesting that there are so many dumbass fans who have first of all, if you ever try to call into these radio stations, you are on hold for hours. Like literally it can be hours.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
Imagine calling in, going on national radio where you're being listened to by a lot of people. And then the only thing that you have to say is, I think that Aaron Hicks I know you're going to defend him and you're going to rip me, but Aaron Hicks is a bum. And then they're just like, no, you're right. Anyway, thanks for calling. Moving on. It's like,
and you waited like
hours,
4 hours to do that.
Hours.
In your car.
Yep. I love the callers.
Eating,
it's endless entertainment. I swear to God. It's so funny.
Cheese dog.
It's
and drinking an RC cola.
Ripping a generic brand cola. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say ripping a Jewel pod.
Oh, that works too.
You could be doing that too.
Yeah. My God.
What
ready
a sad
to
existence.
Go on there and talk about how
should be two
Gleyber
guys with a
Torres should be
podcast
cut. Man. Yeah, anyway. My God. I don't know. Yankee fans are dumb sometimes. Anyway.
So are we.
Yeah.
Hey, there are some pretty big series coming up this week. We have the Tampa Bay Rays going into Camden Yards to face the Orioles. That series is starting right now. Grayson Rodriguez is on the hill tonight, and I believe he gave up a few runs.
He did not do too hot. Let's see.
The Texas Rangers are going in to face the Seattle Mariners. The Toronto Blue Jays are facing the Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh, Orioles are up 4-2.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yep. I guess he did a little better than I thought. Mm-hmm. San Diego is playing Minnesota, Houston against the Angels, and then later in the week, the Rays are coming to Yankee Stadium for 4.
How about the Houston Astros, man?
Yeah?
They look vulnerable.
Oh, do they?
They have not been the Astros that we have known them to be.
That we know and hate.
Yeah, we know and hate. That everybody knows and hates.
Yeah.
They are currently sitting at...
Well, that doesn't totally...
17 and 18. And a lot of their guys are just not, they're not doing Jordan is doing Jordan things, but even he's hitting 280.
I mean, I know they've certainly
540.
got quite a few injuries.
He's so
Altuve
good.
still not back for like
Yes.
another month.
Yep.
Luis Garcia is getting Tommy John. I think last week we had mentioned that we were like waiting on a health report from him. It came back and it was bad news.
Yep. He's out for Tommy
Urquidy
John.
is out until the All-Star break.
Yep.
Hunter Brown looks great.
Hunter Brown does look good. Hunter Brown is really he's crazy. He's crazy good.
Abreu looks cooked at the plate.
Yep. He looks terrible.
Bregman
he's been like the
has
least
been,
valuable hitter in
he's been
baseball or
shitty.
something like that. He's really bad.
Bregman's been having a little bit of a
One of
down
them.
year. So has Jeremy Pena, I believe. I mean, and then Kyle Tucker's Kyle Tucker. He's just kind of a god.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Astros haven't looked great, and the Rangers and Angels right now are the top two teams in that division.
Yeah, that had to break at some point. There's no way they were just going to be able to keep it up. How many all-star caliber, like almost borderline MVP caliber players can you lose and still be a powerhouse?
Yeah,
it's like, I mean,
Houston's going to turn it back on.
I know they are, and that's the craziest part is that they will find a way. It's just right now they are not. They're not doing it, which I don't know how to feel about it. I am conflicted because I don't want to dance on the grave just yet, but I'm so tempted.
I wouldn't even come close. I wouldn't even put on your tap shoes yet, man.
That's a good point.
Sit.
Well said.
Go sit in the car.
Yeah.
Take a timeout. Relax.
You're right. I want to not declare them dead, obviously. Just say they're not going to be able to catch up in this division.
Sure.
But I mean, the people winning this division are the
nice
Rangers, and the Angels are above them. So I mean,
the Rangers,
the wheels could
looked
fall off on
amazing
both
this
of those
week, though.
immediately. The Rangers' offense has been great. I underestimated them severely.
Yeah, and then later in the week, we've got the Rays coming into Yankee Stadium for 4 games.
Another big series.
Yeah, the Atlanta Braves taking on Toronto.
That's a fun talent matchup. How about that?
I'm very excited for that. I'm going to watch some of those games. We've got the rivalry out west, Dodgers-Padres, and then Pittsburgh is playing the Orioles. I'm not quite used to that being a noteworthy matchup.
That is,
but that's where we're at.
That's fair. So the Rays, I think, are they are really not.
They looked beatable.
They don't look like world beaters.
No,
like they really.
Whenever
don't.
they play,
they look vulnerable.
All-star teams, they look beatable.
Yeah,
and it's
frustrating because they still win those games. They pull them out. They find a way to come back. They get a pitching performance out of the bullpen that from a guy you've never fucking heard of before. That's how they win. But they should not be doing what they're doing. Yeah, which makes it even more frustrating.
I think if we're going to talk about them in context of being the American League favorites and like the best team in baseball, which we rightfully should, it's also very fair to note that they look beatable.
The eye test. Like they are not like dominating every facet of the game. The Yankees, like the drained Yankee roster that went down there in Tampa, beat them and then had a chance to sweep that series. They had a chance to win every single game. They were in every game. And they had not looked in every game against the Rangers or the Guardians, even. So,
the Rays have been getting this sort of
could have been the series against the Rays. Like it's it's the AL East. It's a big rivalry game at this point. But whatever. I don't know how much credence you can lend to that. For the Yankees, I'm saying play above their depth.
Before we sign off here for the week, I wanted to run down.
Are the Rays better than the Braves?
No.
I agree.
I don't think so.
I think the Braves are the best team in baseball right now.
I agree. Yeah, I think if that were the World Series, I would pick Braves in 6.
Yeah, I think I'm with you.
I did want to note a couple of stats. I already mentioned a few of these guys, but it's certainly worth noting for the past week. Christian Walker went deep 5 times. His teammate Lourdes Gurriel Jr. went deep 4 times. Sal Perez also hit 4. Dalton Varsho and Anthony Santander both went 3 and with 9 RBIs. Esteury Ruiz stole 6 bases. It was a tough week for Julio Rodriguez and Kyle Schwarber. Chris Sale looked back. Zach Eflin put on a career performance. Merrill Kelly looked like the pitcher of last year, which is great news.
What did you think of
Diamondbacks pitching.
the Eflin thing with his ring?
What? I'm not familiar.
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh my God, they made him take his rubber wedding ring off because it was in his glove hand. You didn't see any of this?
No.
Oh, it was really weird. The umpires came out and they made him take his rubber wedding ring off that was in his glove hand. Like, I don't remember what the exact reasoning was, but like a metal ring on your throwing hand, I definitely get. A metal ring on your glove hand, I can also understand because you could take it out and like scrape up the ball or whatever. I don't know. A rubber ring on in your glove hand is.
I bet the ump was just like crushing on Zach Eflin's wife, and he was like, "Lo, look, your husband took off his ring. It wasn't even on his throwing hand.
He doesn't love you.
Have you ever been with an umpire?"
There's your title for the episode. There's something about calling balls and strikes and in there. I don't know. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, I put Bryce Miller dominating with the fastball, Zach Gallen looking like a Cy Young candidate, and Joe Ryan looking like a breakout ace in the American League for the Twins.
Yeah, the Twins are. You said earlier that you find them very talented, which is fair. I don't know if they're the Twins. I just never trust them. They feel like a very Mets-ish team, where it's just like they're always on the borderline of collapsing, and like they're an injury away from the whole thing just completely falling apart. And they have
what
like
I said
old
also
angry
was
manager
that
who's going to.
I like the Twins to win the AL Central. I don't like
That's
them
fair.
to win even one
Anything.
playoff game. I think
That's
they
a
get
good point.
bounced pretty early.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think Cleveland wins the division. I very much was wrong on my 100-game prediction, but whatever.
That's okay.
It is what it is. You go out on a limb. Sometimes it's going to break.
We'll give you a mulligan on that one.
Fair enough.
I'll get one for the White Sox. You can have one for the Guardians.
Fair enough. Yeah, the AL Central really fucking sucks.
It's bad. It's
Man.
real bad.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be just about it, I think, for this
I think
week's
so.
episode of Mudville.
Fun stuff.
Podcast about baseball and cinema. Not that we talked about
Sometimes
too many
cinema.
movies this week.
Did we talk about Barry?
No, we'll get into Barry.
Oh,
It's fine.
Man,
It's not a podcast
Maybe
about
next
Barry.
week we could do that. Yeah.
I did think it was funny that they were like 8 years later. Nobody aged, but they have a 12-year-old now.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Man, Savage is a
Interesting.
crazy person. Anyway.
I liked it, though.
I did too. It's good stuff. Watch the show
Anyway,
if you haven't seen
yeah,
it.
man, watch Barry and follow us on Twitter at Mudville Pod. You can find me at Stuck in the Coil, and you can find Brody at Board Guy 23.
Yep, BORDGUY 23.
Please give us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify,
It
wherever
really
it
helps
is you
us
listen to
out.
the podcast.
It does though.
This has been Mudville. I have been Nolan Raybine.
I have been Brody Stout.
Thank you for listening.
Unfortunately.
Goodbye.
Have a good one.